Welcome to Manufacturing Minds powered by Alithia. I'm your host, Ron Scott, and today we're diving deeper into the fascinating topic that is reshaping how products are made, mixed mode manufacturing. Mixed mode manufacturing may sound great, but it's more than a catchphrase. It's a new way of manufacturing that integrates a variety of methods into one seamless flow. So why is this important? Let's imagine a production line that can be agile enough to pivot from producing in volume to specific client needs and back again with speed and efficiency. That's the power of mixed mode manufacturing. Today we're joined by two industry experts, Mike AuBuchon from Alithia and Dan Burke from Microsoft. Our experts will share insights into challenges companies face when implementing mixed mode manufacturing systems, such as integrating incompatible systems and overcoming the monotony of repetitive tasks. We'll also discuss how these enhancements can improve system performance, enhance resource efficiency, and minimize environmental impacts during manufacturing. We'll also explore the future of manufacturing, what developments lie ahead, and how businesses can leverage data analytics to proactively enhance their processes and stay at the forefront of the industry. Whether you're an industry expert or a newcomer, this episode is sure to provide valuable insights to help you understand the evolving landscape of manufacturing. So grab your coffee, settle in. It's time to deep dive into the world of mixed mode manufacturing. Alrighty, so share with us a bit about mixed mode manufacturing and the production facilities that would require this functionality.
Yeah, sure. From Microsoft's point of view, the way that we define mixed mode manufacturing is having the discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, and lean all together. So they're just different methodologies of producing things. So if you're discrete, you think you have a lot of different products, maybe bill of material, and it ends up with one product. That's discrete, traditional manufacturing. Process manufacturing is the process of, like, you may have one input or multiple inputs into it and have multiple outputs. So you might have co-products and byproducts. And then with lean manufacturing, you think of it as like a one-piece every or a Kanban pull system. So if you think about like that, high Uncle board scheduling, things like that are for lean. And so with Microsoft, we actually have all three of those together. Now, like an organization that would use something like that, like discrete, pretty standard stuff, process, multiple co and byproducts, right? So like food processing, oftentimes they have multiple outputs into that, or oil or chemicals, and then lean all over the place. But with mixed mode, a lot of companies need that. So if you think of like an automobile, you're coming up with one automobile at the end, but there's lots of different components, including the plastic parts. The plastic parts are often made by like an injection mold. So an injection mold, you have a mold, and you may have multiple different family parts. You might have 3 or 4 different parts, or multiple different parts of those come out. So there's co-products that we need to account for, and they'll all go back into that car. So that's a very good example of where you need mixed mode. And the ironic thing is, when initially we bought the process manufacturing, we bought it from a company called Full Scope. And Full Scope was acquired by Alithia, so you guys are Full Scope. So Microsoft bought that quite a few years ago. I'm not going to say how many years ago because I was a much younger man, but we have that. So Mike, your perspective on this?
So we have many clients that are actually mixed mode manufacturers, and they all have that same need, and that is per your description, they might produce a discrete part, but they do require an organization that can help them also deploy process manufacturing to support the components that require formulation, that will have co-products and byproducts, as you mentioned. Even if it's like something like a sump pump manufacturer, companies like that will require that products are either extruded or molded as part of their process. But at the end of that production line, that product is going to be a discrete entity that is going to get packaged and shipped to your customers. If I look at the industries where we see a lot of the mixed mode manufacturing, I see companies that might be a medical device. We have many building material clients that are in windows and doors, adhesives, you name it. We see it quite a bit in plastic and aluminum extrusion, where you're actually creating parts at the end of those production cycles. And even now, with packaging requirements, we see it quite extensively in food and beverage and nuclear industries.
Sounds like a very common manufacturing situation. It's not just discrete, it's not just process, it's not just lean. You have to combine them. And I guess there's challenges there. What are some of the biggest challenges companies face when implementing mixed mode manufacturing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ron, right? So historically, and I'm going to look at this historically, systems were really good at discrete, they were really good at process, or they were really good at lean, and the three shall never meet. And so we'd see, like, a company that need they're mostly a discrete manufacturer, but they need some lean or some process manufacturing in there. So what they'll do is they'll create a bill of material and they'll create a negative quantity on that bill to actually get a co-product out of there, which is a workaround, and the systems aren't designed to work there. And they won't do any lean, so they do lean outside the system, then they won't have the costing in there. So that's typically the major reason I said they're not a modern platform. They can't do that. You run into that quite a bit, Mike?
We do. We actually, yeah, but our consultants are cross-trained. So managing the synchronization from the different types of production, be it process or discrete, is very common for our functional consultants, and we really do a good job of helping our clients manage through that process. One of the key areas once you start to define and work with the systems, complexities come out. One of the complexities we see is, around scheduling, because you got two separate types of systems, feeding for an end product that is discrete. In managing those two different systems to reduce and eliminate idle time from one type of solution to the other can be a bit to manage. You don't want people standing around waiting for their, product to show up to the production line. So, the D365 platform does an awesome job of allowing your people to take full advantage of mixed mode manufacturing.
I guess any manufacturing system, there are challenges with integration, but how do you integrate mixed mode manufacturing with existing overall processes? Or are there any unique challenges there?
Well, first of all, it's like, having like a mixed mode system at the very beginning and implementing that, it just alleviates all that problem. You don't have to worry about that, right? So with other historical systems that you're changing over with lines of business systems like that, first of all, you need to actually optimize their business process so they can handle it. Do we have to build integrations, other things? How are we going to get the costing? Are we going to teach people that their traditional bill of materials with negative quantities is not the way to go? Teach them how to actually use a process bill, right? A recipe, excuse me, for that. So that's really the kind of the way to start. But we rely on our partners to actually do that change management and actually do the work of implementing that software, and that includes Alethea.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, we've seen more reduction in the area of trying to integrate mixed mode into existing systems. Several years back, with more on-premise type solutions, companies tried to process through that or implement mixed mode in those environments. But honestly, the last couple of years with cloud computing platforms, and the security they bring, we see more organizations just taking a leap and moving forward. If you do try to deploy into an existing environment, it's costly. Like you said, Dan, you have to do all your process mapping, and hopefully your target is appropriate. It requires middleware solutions. Middleware solutions are costly to implement because you have to integrate all your web apps and everything else and then synchronize the data into the middleware. And then you've got to add a whole reporting tool to that as well to take advantage of all the data you're going to collect. So it's going to require data warehousing systems. With a platform like D365, Microsoft does all the heavy lifting for you and gives you the avenues to deploy. And that's where our consultancy excels in mixed mode manufacturing.
Gotcha. So mixed mode and cloud just makes the integration a lot easier. Gotcha. So how does it allow for scaling production either up or down?
So first of all, I'll take that into kind of two different avenues here, Ron. So if we look at scaling, we're cloud. We have Azure. Azure's Microsoft Cloud. We're one of 3 hyperscale cloud providers in the world. So it's us, Google, and Amazon, web services. For business apps, we're the only one that has actually business apps on those. So no matter how big you grow, if you start with a small company and scale up, or if you have seasonality scale, we can scale with that. We have the cloud with that. But also it's like there's the second avenue is, what about the techniques you use? It's like, what if you start out small and then actually have all your process manufacturing outsourced, and then you actually grow and start bringing that in, so you can actually scale with that. But you have to have a product that allows us to do that, or if you have seasonality to go back and forth with that. So sometimes it might be a different process or a different line
True.
screen. You might have a different bill of material or routing on that. So we're ready to scale with Dynamics. Mike, what do you do with your customers for scaling?
We're aligned. I agree wholeheartedly. Our mixed mode clients are able to respond because their systems. We're collecting data across their entire production facility. We're tracking their inventories, and D365 does give companies that have deployed our mixed mode solutions or deployed D365 using mixed mode. I think about our clients like that. Several of them had huge years during COVID, right? And then all of a sudden the demand dropped. And I think of clients of ours that actually were able to react and respond because of D365 being implemented, that platform. So, they had some excess inventories in areas, but they were able to scale back production and they were able to adjust those inventories rapidly. So it didn't hit their bottom line extremely negatively.
Yeah, I remember there were power apps that were written around the testing and the PPEs, and yeah, very very interesting. As far as sustainability is concerned, has is there anything around mixed mode manufacturing systems, their capabilities that contribute to sustainability goals?
So I'm going to actually take a holistic viewpoint, right? And I think you might want to narrow it, Mike. You might, but it's like I'm going to look at. We introduced something called Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, which gives us a whole holistic approach, right? So, and we broke it down into 4 different categories. So the first one is, sustainable sourcing. Okay, sustainable. The second one is sustainable manufacturing, sustainable fulfillment, and ESG reporting, which means environmental, social, and governance reporting, right? And that's all on a composable platform, so it works with all kinds of different things. But let's kind of look at each one of these pillars themselves. So for sourcing, you want supplier ratings. Make sure that the suppliers are the best suppliers. Make sure you're getting good material. Make sure that they're going to be efficient. Make sure they're going to actually follow through what they do, right? Good quality, good cost, things like that. You want to be able to track the certifications that they have. So make sure you track those certifications, renewals, and so on and so forth, and then RFP considerations that you're going to send out to make sure that they have that supplier relationship management. The second pillar on this is the manufacturing of sustainable manufacturing. So first of all, it's IoT integration. We want Internet of Things integration into the machines or different tools or transportation components. How much carbon we put out, how much electricity are we using, how much water are we using, how much is the effluent from that, on and on and on. So it's like we're able to track that, and we'll talk about a little more of that in a second. And the next thing is the circular economy. Circular economy means it's like, okay, let's reuse and bring things back into our whole supply chain that actually go in the supply chain. Process manufacturing, I mentioned earlier about like the comb byproducts, or like the sprue and like all the regrind that you get from plastic. Let's bring that back into the manufacturing process. If we're going to break something down, let's get those components out of that and reuse those different components. So that's a circular economy going back and forth. And then supply chain traceability. Where's this going? I want to make sure it's going to the right place. I have full trace track capability. It's full provenance. across genealogy across those items. So that's in the manufacturing. That's mixed mode across the board. Then fulfillment, you need the calculations for the transportation. How many carbon units are we going to use for that? And then decisions for the route. It's like, let's use some AI. It's like, okay, what's the optimized route with that, with sustainability? Then the last thing is the ESG, right? Which is the first of all, there's a CSRD, and that's a corporate sustainability reporting directive that you have to have the scorecards, the scope 3 emissions, and we create templates for that. So we take a holistic approach that's sustainability.
My vantage is a bit more myopic. You guys have to have the vision of the platform, which does support what we require very well. Um, but from our perspective, we see our clients that have byproducts that are created during production that aren't necessarily sellable. And you have to dispose of them. So having a solution that has the ability to track this material and quantify it and ensure with the EPA that you're disposing properly, that's important to our clients, and it's becoming more and more important, as manufacturing environments evolve through. So um, we do our best to help our clients provide a sustainable solution and to achieve their goals.
So you just hit on two of those points, the circular economy and the supply chain traceability. Absolutely, right?
Yeah. And he's also kind of reinforcing the fact that tracking byproducts through a process system allows you to cost your products better, allows you to track the disposal or any kind of expenses of a co-product or a byproduct, so you really know what your costs are. And I guess the brass tacks are, we want to sell more and we want our costs to go down. So what kind of efficiency gains can be realized through mixed mode manufacturing, and how does that impact overall production costing?
Yeah, so that's the $1 million question is, right? Like, how is it going to reduce my costs? How is it going to improve my business? Or why should I do this? And you know what? It's like efficiency gives me to being gained across the board, right? Manufacturing shop floor. So I've had customers who have actually optimized their throughput by 50% just by using that. Just by using mixed mode and making sure that they have the right techniques. So that's without increasing any shop floor personnel, any back office personnel, nothing. So that's just money right at the bottom line, right? So there's efficiency, but first, you need to manage the data, make sure you understand what it is. You have to optimize that. You have to optimize the scheduling, as you kind of alluded to earlier, Mike, right? You need the best modern production flow methods that you can have, right, and make sure that the system's capable of managing that and getting the proper costs. So you can do the analysis to see actually where it is, which is we have something called process mining. That's an AI that goes in and looks at the process, looks at the efficiencies, looks at the bottlenecks and things like that for warehousing, so on and so forth, picks and different things. You have visibility in all the inventory, so there's no stockouts. Oh, guys are standing around not doing anything. People are standing around not doing anything, not manufacturing anything, or we can't make this, or we don't have the raw material to make it. Things like OCR, optical character recognition for payables, so you don't have to go through the tedious components into that. All of those increase the efficiencies, and there's a payback from that. Mike, your team's the one who actually delivers this, so do you have any thoughts?
I see many of our clients where they have this need to track waste, whether it's specific products can be recycled. I've seen deployments of camera technology doing analysis, if you will, through AI on cable lengths that were being disposed of, and being able to track those cable lengths and go to the recycling vendor and let them know the quantity of plastic versus copper in those cables, allowed them to have better metrics from a waste perspective. So we see this, and we see these increases in a reduction in costs, rather, through better tracking.
Say hello to the new age of manufacturing with the assistance of Microsoft Copilot. Equip your team with intelligent tools that make work easier, help increase productivity, and minimize idle time. With inventory and production planning support, Copilot predicts potential problems and provides answers before the damage is inflicted on your company. Make decisions that are more precise and quicker. Help your organization to improve its collaboration, quality, and innovation, all at your fingertips. Contact us today to implement Copilot in your manufacturing facility. Okay, let's shift gears. Let's move into the world of quality. I'm assuming quality is it doesn't matter if you're discrete, process, lean, or any combination of the three. Quality is key, but what are some of the best practices for maintaining quality in mixed mode specifically?
Oh boy. Good question, right? So it's like when I want to look at quality, quality control is quality assurance and quality control, right? And first of all, you have to establish the best practices and have metrics set up. Whether it be for a co-product, a byproduct, a discrete product, or a lean product, it all has to go, it all has to be in there. Then you need to continuously, measure the quality empirically. So you need to have some tests on that, some specifications of like tests and those components, right? Non-conformance. What are you gonna do for best practices? What are you gonna do for corrective action plan? You need feedback loops. The ironic thing is, it's like, Dynamics has all this, but we bought the IP from another company a few years ago, and who would that be? Full Scope / Alethea, right? So, kind of, you guys live it, right? But there's also things like supplier relationship management, diversify the suppliers, right? You want that traceability we talked about, right? And then Mike, you mentioned more like that vision control. It's like, that cognitive services for QC. So you might be just like, cognitive services is an Azure service that is a vision service, right? You train the model and it'll say, how much copper versus how much plastic is in this? Is this set up the right way? Am I missing a part on that? So you can actually have it do your QC and kick out non-conformance on that. So you can actually go and check to make sure you're doing it right. And unlike, the day after hunting season, everybody's kind of went back and they got 3 hours of sleep because it's like they're up driving back off, and they miss a quality test or a visual inspection. These things don't miss, right? So then you can actually have that human behind that. So that's the way that Microsoft looks at that quality control and quality assurance.
We at Alethea really think quality is important, as the organization that actually produced a lot of what was in D365 today, and we're providing counsel for future roadmap with Microsoft as well from a quality perspective. So, I think it's really neat that you can insert quality control, throughout a process, especially in mixed mode. And there's really no more need for those third-party QMS solutions. You do have the ability to just insert a quality step wherever you need it in any particular routing, whether it's a process item or a discrete item. So you can demand that the quality metrics are being captured. You can and deploy as part of that process quality team members to go check on what they need to. Um, you know, I think about, let's use that sump pump example again. If you're collecting quality right at that injection molding machine for the housing, if there's something out of kilter within that formulation, you want to know about it right away and stop production at that machine until that's fixed. And you're only going to get that through collecting the quality metrics you require. So we see this as a great way to, test for formulation of those plastics, et cetera. With those steps, those appropriate steps covered in the manufacturing process, our clients are seeing great gains and less downtime overall.
It seems like like that process would have some extra challenges. So I'm going through plastics and I'm molding the housing, but then I'm moving eventually into some sort of discrete assembly, and maybe there's some lean concepts in the assembly as well. And I have all these different things going on. How do I ensure quality, consistent quality across the entire all the different production modes?
Yeah, and again, it's like, if you have, a multimodal system that just works together, it doesn't matter what it is. You'll still be able to do the empirical test, whether it's lean, discrete, or process. You might have different ones, you might have different measurements. That's fine at different steps, but as long as it's built in, the problem solved.
Yeah, and we see, being able to, insert these quality steps throughout whatever portion of the manufacturing cycle is very key. Many of our clients are even tracking their non-conformances and actually, looking at providing corrective action and, coming to meetings pre-meetings before manufacturing if it's a lean environment and discussing with the team how things are going to be solved for.
Excellent. Let's move to something that I'm sure everybody's talking about today. You see Elon Musk with his robots walking around. You see everybody with AI talking about AGI, ASI. There's all kinds of crazy things going on in the world as far as technology is concerned. What kind of trends do you see shaping mixed mode manufacturing specifically?
I'm going to focus on something you mentioned, right? Because this is what everybody's talking about. And what's this going to do, right? And I get to nerd out is generative AI. That's changing everything. I mean, there's two parts of it that enable the big change. So first of all, it's like the way we interact with the software is different. It's like the last big change, the way we interact was a GUI interface, right? Like a Windows interface. Before it was just all command line stuff. Now you can actually talk to it, click on it, and have a conversational discussion with it instead of having to know what you're doing. So that's the first big thing. And then it's also a very powerful reasoning engine, right? So it helps the users get information better, quicker, higher levels of automated systems, right? So it's like those two factors are the big thing. What does that do for us, right? Basically, it's going to transform the business. These aren't parlor tricks, and they're just not ways for your children to cheat on history papers, right? Which is the first easy ways to start using this, but they're very, very different, right? It's like, so these are transformative products. If you look at ERP, and I'm just like, this may be blasphemy, but we all do sales orders, we all do purchase orders, we do some things better than this, but we're all the same. We're blowing everything out of the water. We're changing the way that people do business, and it's going to transform people who do business because it's going to increase productivity and well-being, right? You don't want to do those mundane tasks anymore. Let's make those like really easy. Push that up to AI. It's going to reshape the business process. We were just, that's what we're here for. Like the mixed mode manufacturing, what's the optimal way to do that? We got process mining out of this. Tell me what I can do better and how I can make this more efficient. Instead of sitting there with a stopwatch for like 3 minutes, and then the guy working or the person working as fast as they can, and and actually getting, incorrect information, right? The old industrial engineering with the stopwatch thing. Also, we're going to reinvent the customer experience. It's like, okay, we all love chatbots and automated telephony systems, right, from years ago. Get me to an operator, right? Now we're at parity with these chatbots, and you don't have to be a genius to do this, right? This have it go to your model. And then we're bending the curve on innovation. I have all the information in the world, if you will, to help me synthesize this, to help me come up with the solution that I have. If I have an idea, help me solve this with all this innovation, right? And so that's going to change the way we fundamentally do work, and it's changed the way that I fundamentally do work already today, and my customers are doing this, right? But how are we going to get there, and how are we going to evolve? First of all, we're going to start by cheating by writing emails, right? Just like have a chatbot write an email, so I don't have to. So make sure it's grammatically correct and things like that, and it covers all those different things. And then write a poem for my wife for Valentine's Day. So that didn't work out so well. I got caught on that, right? So, but basically, it's gonna empower users so they can find data, inquire insights, and generate reports for the first thing, right? And then it's gonna go and first of all, it's like, how do I do something? What is it? How can I write? And then the next thing is to find data, give me some insights, and generate those reports. The third thing is going to say, it's like, ensure I make the best decisions. I have the data, right? Look for outliers. Okay, where is this an anomaly? Where's this an aberration that I need to work on this? What's going to impact my business? And we're all seeing that with our FP&A. It's like, how is this going to impact my business if this happens, right? What if analysis on that, right? It's like to learn patterns on how people work and then optimize for the best actions to take. And the final step we're going to see in this is, autonomous action. So it's automatically going to do something. It's going to make it more efficient, right? Automate the whole scenarios for the users, right? So we're going to see AI change the way that we do business. It's like, this is the onslaught of this came really fast, but where it came up, what we're going to see is some like generational change in the way that people do work across the board.
I've been working in this industry for some time now, and to see the evolution, to see the investment Microsoft's making in Copilot and AI and all these technologies. As far as the technologies, we see that mixed mode manufacturing is evolving rapidly, and the mixed mode manufacturers require and adopt to the technologies very quickly. But I would say that from our clients, the ones that are consistently achieving their business goals and driving year over year successfully are investing in this digital transformation that you talk about, Dan, and taking advantage of that. But I think also what is really key is these companies are also investing in their employees. So their workforce, they are working closely with them to educate and reskill them.
Let's drill down a little bit more on data. So we have IoT. We're connecting to our customer. We're connecting to environmental information within and outside of the production facility. We're connecting to market data. We have all of this data. What specifically can we do with all of this to optimize the manufacturing process?
Okay, so I'm going to take a little kind of a different spin on this, and it's like then kind of bring it back around to the data analytics, and it's like the output we can get from this. We have a new pre-release solution called Project Sophia, and it's reporting, but it's unique. It's not Power BI, it's more than that, right? So it actually takes the data set and it provides industry contextual relevant assistance and insights into this. So you can take a raw data set, it's going to look at it from somebody's role, whether you're a sales manager, a salesperson, a manufacturing production scheduler, a production manager, whatever that is. So it's actually gives contextual roles into it. So you just point it at the data and it'll create a dashboard for you. It'll create a dashboard as like of information, because a lot of people can't create those reports. But using these LLMs, large language models, using contextual data, just type in from a natural language query, right? Or just type in what you want it to do with this data site, and it's going to give you that output with that viewpoint of who you are in finance or manufacturing or purchasing or sales or whatever it might be, right? And so it'll give you that output. It'll tell you what the outliers are. It'll tell you some information that you need to know. It'll give you some analytics, and then you can actually drill down further into that. Okay, this is good information I need to know. Why is Mike the very top sales guy, and what behaviors does he do, and what accounts is it? And so let's drill down that and even further. It's like how we can replicate that. And so it gives you that kind of information. So first of all, it's going to transform the whole user experience. Right? It's fully immersive. It's just easy to use. You don't have to be trained. Just like you just have to type something. And then you can actually have a different approach. It's like, okay, like I need to go to somebody to actually make this report, and I'm going to give it to someone that's a business analyst, and he's going to give it to somebody in IT, and he's going to rate a data warehouse. Well, you don't need to do that anymore. We can actually just get this information from that, right? So that's coming that, right? So it also allows you to solve big problems with the use of AI. Like start digging into the data for me, right? And then I mentioned it's like those different roles. That's domain intelligence. So it's like from that perspective, we know that a sales manager is going to need this, a production manager is going to need that, a process manufacturing or a chemist is going to need something like that for like a mixed mode type of thing, right? But it also uses public and private data, which is secure, and everybody asks about that. It's like a serious data. We don't use any of that to train, right? And it's cross-functional across the whole organization. So what we're seeing with data is the most important thing. We've had a jump start on every one of the competitors in the business applications for years now, and we've just put the accelerator down, and then and we're just going to blow everybody away. But I know that you guys have a very good business analytics to actually get data output out.
Yeah, we do. We have, and our practitioners do a great job of that. Where we see, our clients taking advantage of this is in areas like predictive maintenance. I saw it at cheese manufacturer where they were making 5 pound bricks of cheese that float down a flume of brine that aged the cheese before it's packaged. But they were using IoT to collect data on vibrations so they knew when motors would go out, which I thought was brilliant. We see it also like in process optimization through, having data analytics allows our customers to optimize, especially in mixed mode, because you got different ways of manufacturing. And for years, companies did more visual and collected less. But now with IoT and other methods, we can track that better for them. Supply chain management, always. I mean, we've been optimizing inventory in ERP for years and years and years. And we now have, through AI, better ways to do that. But what I'm most excited about is our client base that is now able to react because of our ability to support their mixed mode environment, to understand what their customer requirements are, the tweaks to products specifically for individual clients. To me, that's a real neat concept. And without systems like this, we couldn't achieve that before, not as effectively or quickly.
Okay, so with all of the advancements that we're seeing today, all the options that we're seeing today, it can be pretty scary. Let's assume that I'm running a manufacturing facility, and I see all of the Copilot, and one owner might say, I'm going to take a wait and see. I want everyone else to see what's going on. Somebody else might say, hey, I need to jump in today, head first, all in, because that's where I need to be. And someone might be in the middle. Let me do a test. Let me just try it out. Let me do a pilot and see how that goes. So, what's the best way for a company to stay ahead of the curve with all of the advancements in technology, but specifically mixed mode manufacturing?
So I'm going to give you the easy button, and then kind of drill into what you're saying, right? So it's like, first of all, get on a modern platform. You got to get on a modern platform, manage the data, manage AI, be able to like have everything work together, right? That connectivity, right? Um, but the bottom line is like, you got to start someplace. It's like often like is the best to start like in a finance platform for everything. Everything feeds in there. Then you can go start going to supply chain. Not everybody can do that. Some people start in supply chain and go out. Other people can't because they're too embedded with these. So it's like start out with like something called like an IOM, intelligent order management. Coordinate all of the different logistics across in the order management. You might want to just make up, Power BI reporting, start getting your data in line. A line of business apps like a service management or a customer service or something like that. Or it's like, start building Power Apps. We didn't really talk much about Power Apps. Power Apps for me was a godsend when it came out, because it's like, okay, if I can't do this, what are my customers going to do? Do I have an ISV? Or are we going to have to do like a 6 month or a 1 year customization that's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars? Now I can actually just plug the hole with a Power App and actually make that solutions. And you kind of mentioned that earlier, Ron, like in the discussion. You make the Power Apps during COVID with the quality stuff. But you can actually start there and then start kind of building across. But as long as you're on the modern platform that works with some of these um, aging systems, right? Some of these legacy systems, that's a place to start. But you need to get on a modern platform to actually make it, to actually get the most benefit out of this.
At Alithia, we believe in this. I'll say crawl, walk, run kind of initiative. We have an express methodology that allows our clients to engage as they go to a new platform. It can be a bit overwhelming. And we'll define a plan with you, with organizations to actually deploy and take advantage of all that Microsoft is bringing out. We see our most successful clients are digging in, and we have these long-term relationships with our clients and support them as they new adjust ongoing. with their current systems that are deployed in cloud environments. But I had mentioned digital transformation. I think our most successful clients are spending money there. But I also see our clients, and I love the Lean Institute for what they brought to the psychology, if you will, of manufacturing, modern day manufacturing, and fostering an environment or a culture, if you will, of innovation, of having your employees bringing ways to tweak and provide input. I think that's brilliant. I think companies really need to focus on investing in workforce development, upskilling, reskilling. One of the things I've seen is organizational change management over the recent years really on the uptick. And one of the key things that we provide is adoptive. We do an analytics after go live on how the various folks in our clients' production facilities are adapting to the system, or the back office, how they're utilizing the system, and are they doing that effectively? So very, very cohesive, analysis once the systems are in place and operable.
Excellent. Well, it looks like we took up way too much of your time. We went over. So I think we'll put a bow on it for today. So that's it for Manufacturing Minds powered by Alithya for today. Thank you all for joining us on this exciting exploration of mixed mode manufacturing and the profound changes this paradigm shift brings to manufacturing facilities across the globe. Some of the topics that we covered today include the challenges of enriching those discrete motions with mixed mode systems and how such advancements can affect the future of manufacturing. We also addressed the management of the various production processes within systems integrations, where quality assurance and control remain imperative, as well as projected future developments of the industry. We have endless appreciation for our two esteemed expert guests who openly shared their wisdom and experience with us by describing the real-world implications and advantages of mixed-mode manufacturing. If you have any questions or would like to go more in-depth on something that was said today, please don't hesitate to contact us. We always want to hear from our listeners. We appreciate you for listening. It's quite gratifying that you believe in us. We're very happy to sit side by side with you as we investigate the dynamic nature of manufacturing. If you'd like to have a complete transcript of this episode, please visit our website. Additionally, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast series on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music.